Hello everybody, it's me, GhostCritic, on a ridiculously wet and miserable bank holiday Monday. So I thought, let's cheer myself up, let's have a question of the week, because of course it's Monday, the day I pose a comic book related question to all you lot and you answer it down in the comment section below. Now this week I was thinking about team-ups. DC had its kind of Brave and the Bold, DC Comics Presents. Marvel had its Marvel 2-in-1, Marvel Team-Ups, basically where they had pretty much established comic book character and paired them off with maybe an equally established or maybe a kind of under the radar type character. So I'm giving you basically a 2-in-1 question. Firstly, what has been your favourite team-up? Whether it was from DC or Marvel, or maybe there's somewhere else, publishing company, that have done team-ups and you like the stuff. And even if it's happened already, who would you like to see team up? You might want to swap some characters from different publishing houses together, or you might just want to stick with DC or Marvel or wherever. So, who has been your favourite team-up in the past? And 2, who would you like to see team up? Now, last week I got all of 3 questions that you asked me. Just to confirm, I'm going to be trying to do this every week where you can pose questions back to me. If I get a lot of questions, they go in a bowl and I'll pick a few out at random. If, like this week, only 3 questions got asked, you're the lucky ones. I'm going to answer them all this week. So let's dive straight in with Mr. Gretzky 9966, who asked me, if you could be in any cartoon, which would it be and why? Hands down, Dungeons and Dragons. I loved this series as a kid. I wanted to be part of that group of kids. And I wanted to have the kind of magic powers, just not as kind of weedy as I remember the kid being in it. I wanted to be a bit more kick-ass wizard than he was. But yes, I've always been attracted to kind of the fantasy genre. I didn't really get into the whole role-playing Dungeons and Dragons, but I loved reading the books, playing the kind of role-playing computer games, the kind of text adventures, the choose-your-own-adventure books. I was well into all of that stuff, so I gravitated straight away to the cartoon. If I remember right, it didn't really kind of end. I can't remember if they even got back home or not, because they kind of went on this kind of fairground ghost ride or something like that, and they were transported to this other world. Loved it. So yes, I'd love to be in that cartoon. Speaks asked me, what character would you be okay with dying and why? I wonder who I'm going to pick. It's Cyclops. It's always Cyclops. If there's any hating to be done on someone, it's going to be on Cyclops. I mean, come on. He's a whiny little bitch. It was quite funny because over this weekend I've just been catching up on my back issue reads, and I read some early X Factor comics. You know, the time when Cyclops ditched his then wife and baby Madeline Pryor because Jean Grey turned up on the scene again. What's going on with this guy? He couldn't lead a troop of girl guides, never mind the X-Men. Self-doubting, delusional, flip-flops between Xavier's kind of ultimate dream of mutants and humans living peacefully together. He's constantly leaving the team because he doubts himself and goes off. He is just a terrible character, and someone just needs to forget everything that's gone in the past with him give him a solid identity that he can stick to. There's more to a character storyline than indecision, and that seems to be the main problem with Cyclops. There you go. And finally, Joshua Hayes asked the question that I hate people asking me because I have no memory of these kind of things, but I'll do my best. He first asked, what was the very first comic that you remember reading and loving? Fortunately, he put the loving on the end because over in the UK, when I was very little, for someone of my age at least, your kind of first introduction into comics is the kind of UK based comics based at children, like the Beano and the Dandy. And they were just kind of like funny strips lasting 1 or 2 pages. I've spoken about this a lot before, and I'll put a link to a video that kind of explains more about my history of comics, especially for you, Josh. But I guess the one that I picked up and really I really enjoyed and really introduced me to a whole wealth of characters. And unfortunately they were Marvel UK reprints, but it was the Secret Wars event going way back to the, well, these were reprinted in the kind of mid-80s. And I just soaked it all in as a kid. I loved this stuff. And just introduced me to a whole universe that I particularly wasn't aware of. I mean, I knew there was like superheroes, but not really remembering a lot from earlier than that. I have very short-term memory. He also asked me the same for a comic book that I hated, and had I ever angrily destroyed a terrible comic. I don't think I've ever hated a comic about it. I mean, I've disliked it. Me and Josh both know about Batwoman at the moment. As for tearing up a comic, no. I've never done an MAW 0001. I remember him tearing up, I think it was a copy of the New 52 Teen Titans very, very early on. But I don't think I've gone to that length. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a comic book that I didn't really like, that apart from Batwoman at the moment. But I really can't. I kind of tend to pick up things I like rather than I don't like. Anyway, there are your 3 questions this week. Just to confirm, I'm going to try doing this every week, so the more questions, the more interesting this will be for you to watch. So until next week, I hope you answer this week's comic question of the week and answer. Give me some questions of your own for me to answer next week. Whew. Until next week, where it's hopefully going to be a lot sunnier. Bye bye.